Who made the call and made the order that I must be in custody yesterday.
How do you know he made the call?
He made the call because we listened to their calls. The government thinks that they're the only ones that listen to calls, but we also have our ways. He made the call, he gave the order.
And that was the statement that landed Nasir El-Rufai in legal trouble as the federal government has filed charges against the former Kaduna State governor. According to court documents, the prosecution claimed that on February 13, 2026, El-Rufai admitted that he and others unlawfully intercepted the phone communications of the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. In count 1, the federal government alleges that the admission amounts to an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 12(1) of the Cybercrimes Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Amendment Act 2024.
Very quickly.
All right.
Your take on the matter involving Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State. Two issues. On the DSS side, he's been accused of a violation of other people's privacy and making self-incriminating statements on television. And then on the other side, the EFCC says that he has to account for a certain missing 432 billion naira. He was detained by the EFCC. The DSS is saying they are going to charge him to court. And I said at the bottom of it is national security and the fact that the state needs to make the point that no individual is above the law and no one can overwhelm the Nigerian state. Over to you.
Well, the statements of Nasir El-Rufai are not gestural, or if you like, he wasn't guessing. He made very specific statements declaring that the communication lines of the NSA is, if you like, tapped, declaring even more convincingly, in case you're doubting him, that it's not only the government that have the capacity to do that. And you use the expression self-incriminating correctly, because you have no right to violate anybody's privacy. If somebody is holding a public office and you violate the privacy of confidential information or information access to that office, is also a violation of privacy. On top of that is an encroachment on the infrastructure of national security. And therefore, that makes you a potential, if not active threat to national security. So I don't know, even if he did that, I don't know who advised him to go public on it. To that extent, the provisions of the law apply to him as one who has violated everything violatable under that section, and therefore, to that extent, there's grounds for, for DSS picking him up. Come and explain to us how this is, all this you're saying. So it's understandable, it's unfortunate for him. And I do not suppose he can now go to court, as I understand he will be arraigned, to say, oh, I didn't say it. It's on video, it's all over the internet, and he declared it with some form of triumphalism. That means, in my view, that the NSA's lines are being monitored by persons whom El-Rufai knows. That means that it will be the duty of the state to want to ascertain from him who these people are, what they are doing with that information, for how long this has been going on, and to what extent that's an issue for national security. At the second level, and that applies to the office of the NSA, my question would be, how could this happen? This is the National Security Advisor, a critical pillar in the national security infrastructure. When you say National Security Advisor, you're talking about an office that is probably the clearinghouse for all that happens in connection with security by way of final advice to the president from all the services and paramilitary agencies. And that line is monitored, which means subversion of national security must have been going on, if indeed it's being monitored. That means government conversations about security between the NSA and any agency of government has been monitored over time for possible subversion of measures planned by the government for security. So to that extent, I think this is not amusing at all. The attempt to present it as political persecution, oh, you know, because of this, you use the expression, nobody is above the law. Yes, it is true. Some might argue that, well, some people are going free because of where they belong politically. But the issue is this. You cannot run foul of the law in a way that's conspicuous and then turn around to say, oh, there are also people who are misbehaving, and that, are you misbehaving? I may be mistaken, but this seems to me to be one of El-Rufai's biggest political mistakes in his career as a public officer. It's a matter of national security. Not national. Remember, there are 4 countries under pressure from Boko Haram and insurgents and terrorists: Nigeria, Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. Those countries would be interested in El-Rufai's statements. So those who know him well will tell you, don't joke with this statement. Let Nasir tell us who he's been working with. So this is a very tricky situation for him, if you ask me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Ikechukwu. Now, some people might ask the question, how could this have happened at that level where the National Security Advisor's phone was bugged? And the question I'd like to ask you this morning is it preventable? Bear in mind the US example of Mike Waltz in March of 2025, who had created a Signal account where he erroneously added a journalist to the group and then leaked some very sensitive security information on that platform. I'm trying to say that it can happen anywhere, but is it possible that this can be preventable, especially since it's a serious breach of security? It could have been any conversation he was having. It could have been matters of very sensitive, security information, which someone else, if El-Rufai admitted that he and some other people intercepted it, other people very well could have intercepted it. Could this have been prevented? Or what should be done to tighten it further?
No. What I will start from the US example of, remember that I think that was 4 years ago.
No,
Nigeria was able to secure green card for. Sorry?
No, go ahead, please.
About 4 years ago, you said that, yeah, Nigeria was able to secure green card for about between 3 and 7 members of his family by hacking into the US, what do you call it, whatever this thing is. So it can happen anywhere. American elections, Americans have been accusing Russia. So it is technology. Anything can be accessed on the web, the deep web, or any other platform. So it's conceivable it can happen. Is it avoidable? Yes, but today with the level of technology, there is never and no longer any guarantee on any information, on any platform. And the US will tell you that, CIA will tell you that. I recall in a class, I was taking some students, a PG postgraduate class in NDA, and they raised the issue, is there any guaranteed platform that can make you not to be vulnerable 100%? I told them the answer is no. Go and ask the CIA, the answer is no. But that will require you to do not just multi-level authentication, as they will call it. It will require you to do a lot of access segregation, such that information is filtered and doubly filtered, but the vulnerability remains. What gives me concern in this instance, beyond El-Rufai's allegation and the likelihood of it being true, is the need for the Office of the NSA to develop a profile that will be slightly different from what is being seen at the moment. You know, he's been accused of all kinds of things, which I don't believe. I think El-Rufai, even others have accused it of support of subtly encouraging kidnapping, which of course cannot be true. But look at the facts, look at their reasons for saying that. Some people are kidnapped, they are rescued, and at the time they are being shown to us, they're even wearing uniform. They are rescued, they're taken care of, and we're told, oh, we rescued them without, through non-kinetic means. That means you got the children and took them from the criminals who kidnapped them. Please, how many people did you arrest? What is their location? What method did you use? And you find a case, the more recent case, well, it was last year, where the bandits made a video and say, your people are just joking. They paid us. That's why we allowed them to take the girls and go. And nobody is a fool. Children are packed away in the hundreds. You go and rescue them by non-kinetic means. Those you took it from are still in Nigeria. Let's be realistic. This development will present a compelling reason. Look, the NSA is not a child. He's not coming on this scene for the first time. You remember there was a coup report by people, some people in his office were involved, but he was not. So his own patriotism and profile must not rest on the goodwill of people. There must be conscious and deliberate structures to make sure the integrity of that office stands.